Do I have a chance with Mandy Rose?
In short, no.
Straight to the top. We're living this life, not just dreaming it, we're doing it for real. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to live a better way.
And let's welcome our special guest, the WWE's own Johnny Photo. Johnny, how are you, buddy?
Oh, man, doing great. I'm going to try not to laugh through this entire time because I got so many things in my brain right now making me laugh.
What are you thinking about right now, Johnny?
Our childhood in Elwood.
Oh, no.
So, we all grew up on the same road.
That's
Yeah, we
what
did.
people
Our
that don't
road
know. The three of us
Exactly.
grew up. We went to the same high school.
Exactly.
Johnny, let's talk a little wrestling, my friend. So, what's going on in the world? What's a standard day like working in the WWE now compared to what was going on before?
Well, now it's just a lot of running back and forth for me. You know, we set up a studio. We have a list of the guys and girls we need to photograph. New gear, titles change their hair, and taping the matches. So everybody's kind of condensed with our crew. So instead of having one person back in the studio all day, it's kind of running back and forth and trying to get the timing right. It's different for sure. You know, we're used to flying somewhere else every week.
How are the nerves with the whole corona thing? Are they checking your temperature? What are they doing in
doing
there?
all that stuff. You know, everybody's wearing masks all day, and you know, they're taking care of us.
How do you feel about the plexiglass? Do you feel like they're trying to... Is this the future of pro wrestling on television? Or what are we looking at right now with plexiglass?
I don't think so. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's...
What was your thoughts when you walked in and you saw plexiglass? Were you looking for, like, the nearest check into the boards? Or
I was.
Okay.
Going back to my hockey days.
He's taking hockey, yeah.
I'm going to check Strowman into the boards when I take a shot
Check
at him.
Hopefully he doesn't check me. It's a big man.
What's up, Johnny
Oh, almost 20 years at the WWE. Can you tell us how you got hired by the WWE?
Well, I used to... Well, back in the days when I shot hockey, we had the strobe lights up in the catwalks at Nassau Coliseum. The old photographer would call my boss at the time and say, hey, we're coming in. I want to rent the strobe lights. He knew I was a wrestling, but one other guy and me were wrestling fans, and he knew it. So he's like, hey, you want to go to Nassau, turn on the lights, point them at the ring, give the radio to Tom, and just hang out and make sure nothing happens. Sure. It's an easy night. That was back in the days when they were, I guess, taping all the shows, and they would make the weekend show. This was before Raw. You know, Monday Night Raw. I think even before the Manhattan Center days, when they went live on Monday nights.
Forgot about the Manhattan Center.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That
Holy
was before
cow.
my time.
That's
Wow.
the beginning.
And then as they were getting bigger, then they would call and say, hey, we need another, you know, can we use one of the John to come help us shoot the shows? And I would shoot up in the hard camera section, and that was it. I wasn't actively pursuing another job. We grew up, you know, Mike, we grew up wrestling fans.
Right.
But it was never a thought to go, I want to work there. You know, like people watch Hulk Hogan, all of a sudden they want to talk to Devon or any of these guys. They wanted to be a wrestler. I was always a fan, but I never thought that, I want to do that. Or even photograph it. So we had a long conversation, and we would talk about this and that, and put a lot of thought into it, talked to a few different people. You know, I remember seeing you at the gym, and we were talking about it.
Right.
I said, I'm thinking about changing gigs, going to WWF back then.
Which I was totally jealous. Totally, jealous.
Oh, are you for real?
And you're not just coming in on any era in wrestling. You're coming in during the Attitude Era, basically.
It was right at the tail end.
Right
you know,
at the
going
tail end,
into,
but it's still a magical time period in the history of pro wrestling,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
we were watching. You know, I was living with a couple of buddies, neighborhood guys, and we would watch Raw. We would switch back and forth to what was happening better, and then
Were you starstruck your first day when you walked in after accepting
my
the job?
first show was Raw in Hartford, Connecticut. The night after, I forget the name of the pay-per-view, but it was in Albany, and Kurt won the heavyweight title.
Okay.
And I
Kurt
walked
Angle.
in, and we were backstage. I had met one of the guys who's still working for me now, Rich, he was doing studio.
Mm-hmm.
Then they just gave me a headset so I could listen to camera calls. And then they go, hey, we need you backstage for something. I go, what? You grab a camera. And it was Kurt coming out of limo with Stephanie. And we're all yelling like paparazzi. So my boss, my first day on the job, goes, how'd you get on TV already? You just started. I said, no, I'm just doing what they told. I don't know. Starstruck. You know what? I spent 10 years around professional hockey players.
I guess you already were
like
conditioned.
When you're 22 and you see Wayne Gretzky, then you go, if I was younger
Right.
and saw The Rock, but I still walked in and you got to keep, I knew at that point I was already 33, act professional.
Sure.
I just kept my mouth shut, didn't say boo to anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. If they would introduce me to a lot of the guys, hey, how you doing? Went about it a separate way. You get there a little longer, you start to talk to the guys. I discovered Devon, went to John Glenn.
Yeah, Devon passed through our town. It was almost like a blur, but the next thing I knew, I was watching ECW. I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen that dude.
Yeah, and his thing was like people. He said he wanted to be a wrestler, and everybody
Right.
put him down.
Right.
Well, you're crazy.
That's-
Blah blah blah. What are you doing? And when he made it, and I don't know who he spoke. It was before Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Who he may have spoke to from the neighborhood, but then he was like, "Oh, who do you see? Well, tell them this, tell them that." Everybody that said I was never going to make it,
Right.
and they're one of the biggest tag teams in the history of the
Right.
industry.
You were there when Eddie passed away, though, right?
Yes,
What was that like?
that was. I cried. I mean, you get friendly with these guys. You travel with them. We do the international tours. We're on the buses together. We're on the airplanes. We talk, and I'd spoken to Vicky after the fact because when my first son was born, they let me stay home so I wouldn't get stuck somewhere and miss his birth. And I went back out. He was born December 8th, so I went back out after Christmas. I was home probably about 6 or 7 weeks, and he's asked me where I'd been. He's like, I haven't seen you. I said, hey, no, I had a baby. They let me stay home, so I went. Show him, oh, he's beautiful. I said, his name's Christian. And he's like, oh, good name. He left, came back, became a born-again Christian, and was
Okay.
very faithful.
Okay.
To his faith, Vicky would come on a lot of the trips with us. So I got to know her from before she was on TV. And he told me a prayer in Spanish, and he translated, which of course I never remembered. And when Vicky started coming back on TV, I had told her the story, and she said, "I'm gonna look. I'll go look through all his because he would write stuff down." And she could never find it. And I said, he said it in Spanish. He translated it. And when I told him my son's name was Christian, he gave the face. He would raise his eyebrows, do his character way. And I said, I would really love to get that and have it, and just so I could write it down. You wrote it down and give it to me, and she couldn't find. I mean, she couldn't find it, and it is what it is. But I remember him saying that, and we would talk. Chavo, was a great guy, and all those guys. But Eddie was sad because it was just a shocker, to hear what happened. And we were leaving for Europe that night. Like, we were taping shows, and then we were all flying to Europe, and we were Raw, SmackDown. We're going through our tours. So that we started in Italy, and you didn't realize the impact you had until we were in Rome, and the first show, the signs everywhere. The whole arena was filled with signs about Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night, and then the next night, and the 10 bells, and everybody's tearing up, and it was 12 nights. It was just, it was tough.
Here's probably the most important
Oh, here
question
we
of the
go.
night, John.
Here we go.
How do you hold yourself together with all the hottest women in the world
How did I
around
know?
you on a regular basis?
How did I know?
How do you hold it together?
Do you hold it?
You guys do want to get me fired, don't you?
No, don't answer that. That was me.
If I was working for the WWE, you think I could have made 20 years?
What?
No.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Thank you.
20
Oh, my God.
seconds.
You gotta be professional. You just gotta. It's just like with anything else. You take a step back. I mean, look, we used to do the diva shoots. We'd be down in the
Oh,
the
my
Caribbean
God,
for
dude.
2 weeks.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yipe.
Back in the Tory, all those girls. And
Ooh.
you just gotta tune out. Even like
Tune out. You're focusing the camera. How do you tune out?
to what's you got to get the picture, and then that's it. It's just like when guys get busted open, and we take pictures of them getting stitched up.
Yeah.
You just gotta
Got to stay
camera
professional.
kind of
And be like,
separates.
I don't want to go take pictures of the divas.
I would be like that.
Where's Braun Strowman?
I don't know what. I would not be like. Ew, I'd rather take pictures of Braun. Johnny, do you think that the women's evolution has killed pro wrestling? I've got my suspicions, but that's me. Any thoughts on women's?
No, I think all these girls are great, and they can work, and they put on good matches. I think.
Well, just put water on my fire, why won't you?
Sorry.
Do you ever lose concentration because the match is that good, and you all of a sudden you're like kind of all watching that match?
Nah, lose concentration, no. But think in my head, like, some of the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels matches, and you're sitting at the ring, and these 80,000 people. They have, they have these people in the palm of their hands. And if you watch the any of the Undertaker's documentary up to this point, that Hell in a Cell with Shawn as the ref, and I go in the cell, I sacrifice myself for the good of my photographers.
Man.
Thankfully, I have not been hit by. I've had a few close calls, but thankfully no serious injuries. But when Brock is in there, stuff's flying all over. There's just. But now some of those matches, Undertaker, Shawn, or any of those classes where you just sit there and go. You sit back and go, or Sheamus and Daniel Bryan with 18 seconds, and you sit there and go, what just happened? Like if you blink, you miss it, so
Right.
you can't. And
Right.
It happened right in front of me.
Right,
So
right.
You go, okay, that's interesting, and then on to the next match. But some matches I'll watch just to get a look at, and like I've said to some of the guys, they talk about Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man being the greatest match ever. But when we're kids watching WrestleMania 3, or we're kids watching, you're not watching from a technical wrestling aspect. To me, it's Hulk slammed Andre.
Right.
That's my memory.
Sure.
Now, as I've been there so long and watch guys and speak with a Dean Malenko, and these guys that are great in-ring technicians, and listen to them and watch guys in the ring, a guy like Fit Finley, I could look at Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man, and appreciate it now better than I could when we were, 17, we're 18 or 19 years old as a Hulkamania or the British Bulldogs, or just wanting to see the bad guys lose or laugh at whatever Bobby Heenan says. Because I always liked the ha-ha aspect of it growing up.
Right.
You're not looking at, Bob Backlund's a great technical wrestler. It was just he was the champ, and he had that All-American thing about him, and Iron Sheik you hated him because he was from Iran. Now, I look at it, I could watch guys in the ring and respect what they do. More now watching them.
Because
And the girls.
you know how difficult it is what they're actually trying to pull off.
Just watch subtle things, or when they're training guys, or they're in the ring going over stuff, and listen to a Dean Malenko, who was so good at what he does, or even back in the day when he wrestled. Look at a guy like Eddie. I mean, Eddie was just charisma in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, laugh at the ridiculous stuff he used to do
Amazing.
on the live events. You got to hold the rope for a tag. He puts it on the rope and goes to the middle of the ring. He's getting yelled at. He's like, I'm holding the rope. And the ref doesn't know what to do.
What, in your own mind, do you think was the greatest picture you've ever taken?
Ooh.
In my time,
That you're so proud of, something you would hang on the wall of your house?
there are two. You've probably seen them on Instagram or Facebook. Undertaker after 21-0 when he's doing the pose with the urn.
Okay.
21-0 is on the Tron and all the fireworks. The pyro's going off at MetLife. And when Shawn super kicks Rick in the retirement match.
That's your
Nice.
picture?
Yeah, when his foot is in his face.
Wow.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
I did not know that was your picture.
Those are probably my two favorite. I mean, I got lucky and caught Brock landing on his face when he the shooting star press that didn't go well.
Oh.
But that was the film days, so I didn't know if I got it or not. I know he's doing it, and then
Right.
you hear him and then we shipped the film back to Stanford, and then I get a call. Oh my God, the shot of Brock. I mean, his head is hitting the mat, and you look at it and go, how did he survive?
Johnny, how would you fix today's current state of pro wrestling? Do you think it needs fixing? There's a lot of critics on both sides of the coin. Any thoughts on what could be done to improve the product today?
I'm a photographer.
Do you study your own work? Like after you film a match, do you go back and watch your work and take tips from what you're seeing of your own work to improve? Or
Photos, yeah.
Okay.
We shoot differently now. We used to shoot with the strobe, so you would take one picture.
Okay.
You had to wait 3 seconds for them to recycle. So you try to work on your timing a little better. Now it's kind of put your finger down, and but there are certain things. But it's I don't look too much. I'll look on the galleries they post, and then I'll go back and look at some of the stuff that I shot, and I'll look a little more at studio shots.
Do you appreciate wrestling more now as an adult working for a major organization like the WWE, or did you like it better when you were younger and it was more just fun?
Look, I love my job. It's fun. It's different. It's not obviously not normal. Get on a plane and fly somewhere every week, every other week, whatever it is.
Awesome.
Travel around the world. I mean, look, if you would have told a freshman in college at School of Visual Arts, photo major, 18, that at 52, not yet 53, that I would have been to 45 countries and stood at the base of the pyramids and walked through the Red Square, in the Roman Coliseum, and been to Australia. I can't even count how many times I've been there. Wouldn't have believed it. I honestly would have thought 4 years of college and went and worked for my dad.
Right.
And then things just kind of, some of them happened by accident, and then just, working hard and being responsible and respectful to the people I was around, made it to where I am now. And, it's been a good ride. As far as, it's tough because I'm looking through a camera. The amount of respect I have for the men and women that do this for a living.
Have you ever been in a situation on a plane where you felt like something was going to happen, like maybe mechanical or like close death
Yeah,
flight?
we had one.
With the amount of traveling you have, right? Your odds are up there, right?
Look, we've had plenty of not going anywhere because it's snowstorm. We can only get this far because it's snowing in New York. I think one winter, it snowed every Tuesday and Wednesday, 5 or 6 straight weeks. And I have to call home and say, I'm stuck. I'll be home Thursday. And then the neighbors would shovel the driveway.
Right.
In fact, one leg of the tour, Brock was sitting next to me. And I was watching movies on my laptop, and Old School popped on, and he takes his headphones and he goes like this. And I went, I don't have a splitter, dude. We can't watch it together. He just looked at me. He's like, shook his head. Sorry. I like Brock.
Yeah.
I've known him since he first came up, and he always comes up and shakes my hand. He's a good dude.
How is it watching him perform up close? How physical are we talking when you're actually standing feet from him?
Scary.
It's got to be, right? Is he the most physical guy you've seen and passed through in the 20 years?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
He, Money in the Bank last year. He just came running down and shoved the ladder on his way in, and I had an arm up. If I wasn't paying attention,
Oh.
it was.
How tough was it with all the firings or the layoffs that happened in the WWE?
It's just like anywhere else. Anyone else you see, friends of ours that own small businesses that are begging to get back open. It's tough. It's tough. These guys are they're family. When you hear the wrestlers talk about it, we spend as much time or more with the people on the road than our own families. So we see our kids grow up together. We're in a town where the merch guy lives, and he brings the kids, and that kid was this big. Now he's, or my kids come to the show in Nassau. I was like, wasn't he a baby crawling around backstage in Bridgeport? When that show right after Christmas, and now he's 15, and they all, how old are your kids? And oh my God, who's got grandkids? And it's tough. They're all, it's just it's a hard situation for everybody. I text with one of the Singh brothers. Gerv, I think it is, and we text hockey, and they're in Canada. They can't come. The border's closed.
Right.
He's got a newborn. We were in Vancouver in February. We took pictures down by the ring, in front of the WrestleMania sign, and he's like, spend this time with my newborn, and then hopefully when everything opens up, I can come back to work. Like for me, it's I'm a photographer. I hang out with the backstage lighting guys in the bar after a show. I think with us is you work these wacky hours. Like you're home watching it, we're working it, and
Right.
now it's 11 o'clock at night, and everybody's still doing a few more hours of work, and you watch the news or you go to bed, and now you're with these guys at whatever time. It's like, hey man, let's go have a drink before we fly out in the morning, and then you're at the airport together at 5 o'clock in the morning flying home, and it's all day. Hey, let's have you're in a hotel bar, or let's go have dinner together, and in that sense, it's way different than an office job.
That schedule sounds awesome.
He's got the best schedule in the world.
That schedule
man.
sounds awesome.
I mean, it's weird now,
Okay.
but the split with Fox, we split everything up, so it was that's weird too. I mean, that was weird to just work Monday. And go, I should be driving to, we're in Boston. We should be driving to Albany for SmackDown. I was like, now I'm driving home.
Who's your favorite talent to work with over the years? You've been there 20 years. Is there anybody you really look forward to working with when you hear you're going to do a photo shoot with a particular person?
I wasn't there I was there a couple of years, and we did. Perry Saturn and I went around Santa Monica with Moppy.
Perry Saturn.
With Moppy.
With Moppy.
And
If Moppy is your favorite, I'm really going to be freaked.
That's one of those moments when you say, I can't believe this is what I'm doing.
This is my life.
We laughed the entire time.
Drake Maverick loses the finals.
Okay.
Triple H comes out.
Yeah.
He's crying in the ring. Triple H comes out, offers him a contract.
Right.
All right, John. Was this a work from the beginning or what?
Dude, I have no idea.
Come on!
I take pictures. I just go there and shoot.
Yeah.
Because Edge is back.
Yeah.
And I think I had put something on Instagram shocker, no clue he was going to be at the Rumble. And when his music hit, even I went, wait a minute, what the?
By the way, probably one of the great moments
was-
in wrestling history.
that
I mean,
was-
the chills.
Did you mark out?
I did, actually.
Nice.
He didn't
When-
know. He's
when
like,
he-
yeah.
When his music hit, I went,
Oh.
and then, the Spears, and then talked to him the next day, and I said, dude, we went, he had to retire, and we went to Europe. And that was he wanted to say goodbye to the fans. So it was every night. And we got to Liverpool. I knew that he was talking about the Beatles. I said, let's go do a day. We'll take pictures. We'll go around. We got a car. We went to the museum. It was just the two of us. And we really didn't talk much about wrestling at all. It was just a lot of other stuff. And the guy goes, I'm going to take you up by this pub that Ringo Starr used to hang out in. Like, it's closed down, so we're not going to go in there and drink. Why are you taking us here? And we're just standing there, and this guy comes around the bend, and he goes, Edge, oh my God. And now we start talking. He goes, hey, Ringo Starr's childhood home is right down this way. And then, Liverpool, certain areas, it's like row houses, like Queens or Brooklyn. They're all houses, all connected.
Right.
We're like, all right, let's go, take us there. Just a happenstance. And an old lady lived in the house, bought it from Ringo's family, and basically like a museum to him. That's how she has it set up.
Sure.
All these pictures and tells all these stories about him. And we were probably in there for 45 minutes, and we walked out and just looked at each other and went, that was the most ridiculous thing that could ever happen. Like, this guy just brought us. First we're looking at each other going, why is this guy bringing us to this bar that's closed? We're in Ringo Starr's childhood home. And then, we drove to Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields.
Nice.
And go back to the building. And,
Nice.
it was like one of those days. And then we talked about it after he came back. And I said, I tell everybody that story because we were just, he goes, that's one of the most fun days I've ever had.
Is a WWE class act to work with?
They treat us great. I don't,
Nice.
It's
Nice.
a lot of hours.
Sure.
You know that going in. And I myself get treated with respect by people on the crew, the talent, the higher ups we talk with, and I get treated well. Pretty much everyone on our crew was there when I started, and I honestly got every time the Godfather comes back and does something, he says, "We come and go. You guys are all still here. You must be treated well." And I said, "We are treated well. It's TV. I would imagine if I was the team photographer for the Mets, it's 80 games and all these days, and I love the hockey. I mean, I shot over 100 hockey games a year, weekends, travel. I mean, it was different than this because you're not involved with the players. We'd shoot the game and then go home unless we had to do something specific with team photos or whatever else. But there wasn't any kind of a relationship with Mark Messier. It was just, hey, Mark, we had to take these pictures. Goodbye. But everybody knows the job has to get done, and I've never seen anyone to a point where there was anything that prevented people from working together. And We all get along. We all know each other's families and kids and wives and girlfriends or whoever else and parents. You know, guys bring their parents to the shows, and you go to England and you meet William Regal's parents because they come to the show. Or
How cool
in
is that?
Australia, and you know the Iconics, their families come to the shows. Or Buddy Murphy. You know.
We've had Scott Hall in the past. Any thoughts on working with the legendary?
You know, when you asked if I ever marked out when they came back, well, Hogan specifically. So
Sure.
When they came back as NWO,
I'm
and
with
we
you.
did a photo shoot with them in Stanford, and it was Hogan, and you just sit there as a kid that grew up, and there he is, and he's having a conversation like we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring up Tuesday Night Titans, the show, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's the stuff that went on when we filmed that show." And when we do Australia tours, when we did Brisbane, they would always do a Brisbane Cup. So it was a battle royal. Whoever won then had a title shot at the end of the main event. So it's everybody other than the champ, obviously. And Santino gets thrown out, holds the ropes, pulls himself back in, bows up to Triple H and Cena. It's on YouTube if you search it.
I gotta look.
He goes, walks backwards, grabs his singlet, and throws himself over. Right in front of me. So I'm laughing, taking pictures. As I'm shooting him walking off, like Mike Chioda's on the ring apron with his hand over his face,
Not to lose.
doubled over in laughter. And if you search it on YouTube, you'll find it. It's like a fan thing from upstairs. But like that kind of stuff Santino would do. Like what Hurricane. Every time tried the double choke slam in the Royal Rumble with Steve and Hunter. And then they looked at each other and threw him over. And I talk with him. You know, I bring that up to him all because he'll put it on Facebook or Instagram. We're Facebook friends, with Shane and I. And that's another great guy. We went around with the Hurricane in Dayton, Ohio. We went to a comic book store. We did the most ridiculous nonsense with William Regal. People were laughing watching what was going on. And he's such a character. And you know, these guys have a good mind for the business, and he knew what to do to get over.
Do I have a chance with Mandy Rose?
You please. Oh my
No,
God.
I'm gonna use the line. I refuse to answer on the grounds I may incriminate myself. In short, no.